Good, good. And we are finally live on YouTube and LinkedIn. So let's go live. Oh, that's LinkedIn is not working. So that's that's strange, but we are live on YouTube.
Okay, good.
Okay, good. So we are here with San Payment. So thanks to come here, San. How are you?
Thank you.
How are you? Good?
I'm good. This is my first live anything, my first podcast. So as I was saying earlier, I'm both excited and nervous in equal measure. So
Okay.
But I'm in good hands. I know you look after me.
Yeah, it will be a nice night tonight together. So we will speak about smart working. I wanted to speak with us about smart working because I really know very well your business. We have the opportunity to spend a lot of time together and planning your business since the first days. And I have seen how hard you work and how good you work. I think I was one of your first customers.
Yes, you were one of the first. You've been there from the start. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's time now to do smart working almost for everyone. And it will be very interesting, San, to know what is your experience on smart working, how did you start, and a little bit of your background and a small presentation, please.
Sure. So I'm San. I'm the founder of Cloned. Cloned is a London-based virtual personal assistant company. We've been successfully supporting our clients remotely since 2017. The industries that we look after are, varied. We have people from individuals, entrepreneurs, small to medium-sized companies. Their backgrounds vary from motivational speakers, personal coaches, fintech companies, and recently gambling companies. So my husband is actually the CFO of matchbook.com, which is a betting exchange and casino. And he encouraged me, first of all, he encouraged me to set up the business to begin with. So I have to give him some credit. Most recently, he encouraged me to approach the gambling industry because, he said that he's sure that there is, attraction there. There are people in the industry who need low-cost, flexible virtual assistants. And although I hate to admit it, he was right. So
Can you give me an example of services that you offer in the betting industry to the betting community?
Yeah.
Let's speak a little bit about this, that it's really important for our community.
Sure. So we've been able to support them in multiple ways. One has been research. So as you're aware, different countries have different laws, different regulations. America, for example, is opening its doors to online gambling a lot more recently. So we've really been able to assist with research in that respect. Different states have different laws, different regulations, and where some states have gambling, which is legal, others have it as illegal. So we've been able to offer a lot of help with the research side of things.
Yeah. I'm doing actually for myself, for my affiliate business. And I've seen that it's very, very, very complicated. Lately they ask me for an insurance between $1 million and $2 million just to be an affiliate. So I was looking, on the easy side of the regulation, that is the affiliate regulation, but it was terrible. It's very hard.
So, I think they're opening again. They're just, it is tough, but in time, hopefully it will kind of be lesser regulation. So it might be easier in time. But, some of the states at the moment, they are being tricky to work with.
Well, every state's different regulation, different application. So I think that the research side is really important.
Absolutely. So we've helped with research. A different side of research that we've also helped with is KYC, so knowing your customer. It helps us to do background research on potential new customers that come in to gambling companies, and it helps us to set up a profile of that person. So it's a bit of risk assessment for the company to know, who they'll be working with. So we help them with that as well. The biggest chunk of work that we probably do with gambling companies is that, as you're aware, there are so many conferences and events around the world based on gambling. So we just recently had ICE in London. You know, there's another one, a big one in Vegas in the autumn every year. So what we do, we first of all source these events to see whether they're, they're good for the individual who wants to go to them. And then we help to kind of obtain tickets, discounts. We help with the travel requirements, putting together an itinerary, hotel bookings, airport pickups, that aspect of it. And we also help with the networking and the socializing side of it. So once they're there might be specific companies that they want to reach out to. There might be like an evening where they want to get a certain group or a certain company together for networking, for socializing. So we might look into restaurant bookings, event spaces, things like that. So that is something else that we've helped with. So three main areas, really.
Okay, but speaking about your personal side, what is smart working for you? What means? And how did you start smart working?
Yeah, so for me personally, smart working is working efficiently as quickly as possible to get the best results. For me, again, personally, smart working goes hand in hand with agile working. So being able to do that from any environment, any location. So yeah, it's being able to get the best results in minimum time by being the most efficient.
Okay, and what do you think is the main advantage of smart working?
The main advantage of smart working, again, for me, and I think for my cloned team in general, is the fact that it offers you work-life balance. So if you're able to work smart and you're able to do it the right way, then you have a balance between your professional life and your personal life. So you can spend the day focusing on your work and getting the maximum results from it. And then the evening you have time to, whatever it is that's important to you. So whether it's spending time with your family, writing a book, studying something, playing sports, whatever gives you joy. So, you have that balance. You strike a balance in life, because so often we find people who are so consumed in their work with no time for anything else, or people who can't focus on their work. So they have a great time, but they're not very productive. So smart working is striking a balance. And, in the long term, it equals happiness because you get the best of both worlds.
Yes, and above all, to be productive, I believe that you use a lot of specific tools for you, for yourself, but even for all the virtual assistants that are working together with your customer. Could you give us some kind of tip about these tools? What is the best tools? And if you these tools, I think they're very interesting.
So the tools that we use, so Cloned was always set up with smart working in mind. So from the start, we've set our foundations so that we can work, remotely. We can help our clients without having to be with them constantly. So the systems, the protocols, the platforms that we use are all set up to be able to support that. So we use things like Slack, for example. They're all very business focused, but they're all specially designed for a specific aspect of our business. So we use things like Slack for internal communication. It's business focused because you're not going to find many of your friends and family using Slack. So it's not going to, distract you from your daily work. We use project management tools like Asana. So everything that we do, we have special systems that we use for time tracking. It's all designed for smart working. It's designed to be a business tool, and they're all designed to kind of separate work life from business life. So, you won't find any of our team kind of working on WhatsApp and getting sidetracked and talking about their weekends. So we try to differentiate it.
Yeah, and what about people that are currently at home? So we have a lot of people there actually at home, and what can you do for them, and what your company can do?
So in the current climate,
Yeah.
yeah. So what we found was, obviously, times are different. Last 3 weeks have been very different. I don't think anyone could have imagined how much of a upturn it would have. So initially, when the whole lockdown, so in London, lockdown started 3 weeks ago. Initially, when it all started, we were very busy with helping our existing clients. So most companies are set up to be office-based. We found most of our clients who are small to medium-sized companies are very used to having their team in-house. So where I mentioned Cloned is set up for smart working, not all other companies are. So they're used to having people in-house, they're used to having their processes and the way they work to be office-based. So with the whole lockdown, we really spent some time helping our clients navigate those areas, whether it was, setting them up on systems, just offering simple advice, like, for example, what communication system portals to use within their team. That's how we started off with our existing clients. And then as time has gone on in the last couple of weeks, we've noticed that there are lots of people who were perhaps in full-time jobs, who had a great business idea, but, working full-time, they didn't have much free time to kind of explore those ideas. So now, whether they've been furloughed or their workload is reduced, it's given them that opportunity to really explore the idea, to kind of try to set the work in motion, to kind of take off and see if it will work. So we've had a few people who we are assisting with research to, background, see if the business will be viable. We have helped them with their social media, so setting up different platforms, starting to create some content for them, just really kind of getting the idea that they have into motion and into a startup. And also, we used to be a startup, so we have a good network that these new clients can tap into. And I think finally, so many businesses have had to furlough staff. So most businesses at the moment, they haven't halted completely, but they've slowed down a lot. So, for example, if a business had 5 employees, they didn't need to have everyone full time. So unfortunately, they've had to furlough people to, save costs and kind of keep the business ticking over until lockdown's lifted. So these companies are used to having that support network, but now they've gone from having a full team to having almost no one. So they need a bit more of a flexible approach to admin. So that again is, where Cloned is great. So they come to us because we offer like a flexible approach, and we can help them out without them having to have someone who's full-time, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, if they don't necessarily need it. And it's a more cost-effective way of doing it as well.
Yeah, I think that's nowadays your company got a lot of opportunity because you get some kind of time advantage and a lot of experience in this flexible world. So I see on customer side the opportunity to get some specific and experienced support from your company, but at the same time I see that maybe the future customer of your company could be the employees, the manager, because unfortunately with this uncertain time, I believe that a lot of people should find new job, should position themselves in a different way in the industry. So I imagine that a lot of people that were managers before will become nowadays entrepreneur with their small company. So I think that now a lot of people. Like, can you tell us how do you want to help these people?
So I actually read an article a few days ago, excuse me, that said in times of difficulty, new businesses flourish. So this is again, like what you've just mentioned, you will find lots of people who have had those ideas, and then they will come, and this is the opportunity they have to kind of really help those businesses grow or to even set up the business. The part of your question, did you ask how we help them? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm not sure you're doing this, but maybe it will be like a new business side. I believe that you can help a manager that actually will not get a lot of opportunity to go to work in the normal way, like manager of other companies. So you are not like, let's say, Pantasia for example, in our betting world, so company that are recruiting company, but you get the kind of expertise to help a very new entrepreneur to set up his own business because you did it.
Yeah, like almost like a consultancy to kind of help them navigate, to help them launch.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we used to be, we were a startup. So we have done it from this, building it up ourselves. So we've gone through the motions, we've gone through the processes, we've had to, find the marketing people, the branding people, the graphic designers. So in that respect, that is definitely something that we can help with. Like we have a little black book of people we could refer to them almost. So definitely it's something that, I think it's definitely something that we could work with. Yeah.
I see that, on the smart working side, you are really experienced, you and your team. So as the new future of the working environment will be smart working, I believe that you can give a lot of support. And so I hope that, you will have a new business opportunity on that side because I see a lot of potential.
I think we'll see a shift in our business. I think, up until now, smart working's been there forever, but not everyone has either known of it or has been open to it. And I think this situation, people have been forced to work from home because of the lockdown, but still not everyone is working smart. So with, some people are just working from home thinking they're working smart. So I think it's a pivotal point. People are going to see the benefits of having their team work from home and working in a smarter way. So absolutely, I think it's a new era we're about to enter. I'm excited.
2 days ago, with some friends really experienced like you in smart working, and they told us there is a big difference between remote working and smart working, and the main difference is to get the right mindset up, the right rules, and the right balance. Could you tell us about your experience? How did you manage these things?
So I think to work smart is to be organized, to be efficient, to kind of be disciplined in order to eliminate any distractions. For example, all of our PAs who start with us, they're not experienced in smart working. So when they start with us, we train them, and it's constant training in other aspects of the PA role. However, smart working is something I think most people have to work towards being able to do, and to do it correctly. So, for example, to work smartly is to not have your phone next to you, not to have your TV on, to treat your day as you would a business day. If you're going to kind of spend 2 hours in the middle of the day watching a film, that's just working from home. It's not working smart. To work smart is to be dedicated. You need to set your time aside. You need to be self-motivated as well. It takes practice to get it right. So, like we said, I think some people are perhaps just working from home, but to be able to get the balance and work smart, you really see the benefits. You see that, you're getting the most out of your work life because you're working in clusters, but you're fully focused. So you're achieving a lot more. And also you're getting a balance of spending time with your family in the evening. So you're not working like a 12-hour day. So it takes time, but once you get it, it's wonderful.
I'm really curious about one thing. I strongly believe that women are always much better organized, more proactive, and always more productive. So you change quickly from one thing to another. You are multitasking. But the real question is how you can explain the rules of smart working to your family member, how they can understand that you're working and this is your office, and you cannot maybe speak with them or to be real present with them, even if you're at home.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. All the points that you've mentioned, I would agree with. I'm much better at multitasking. I'm a Virgo, so I'm very organized. However, when it comes to smart working, I feel like my husband is better at it than me because I think he's done it for longer than me. So it doesn't, I think, once you get it right, it doesn't matter whether you're male or female. You can operate. To answer your question about how you let your family know, I think it's, setting boundaries, letting people know that, for example, Cloned, we're online between 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. So those for us is our core business hours. So like my family know that come 8:30, I need to have my laptop open. I need to have my phone on me. My team also, come 8:30, everyone is online. I don't expect anyone to kind of show up at 9 a.m. So it's setting boundaries, communication. If I have a call, at the moment, our son doesn't go to nursery, so he's roaming around the house. So if I have a call, I let my husband know so that he can kind of take care of childcare. But yeah, it's having a balance. It's being able to communicate, but it's really just setting clear boundaries and letting people know.
Yeah, and I think you should set up two kind of boundaries. One is on the family side, but the other one is on the business side, because sometimes as chair of your company, I believe that you get some people starting with motivation that maybe wants to call you at 11 p.m. in the night. And so it's very tough to say to this nice person, no, actually I have to stay with my husband, my son. So how do you manage this other side that is even more dangerous sometimes?
I think as a business owner, it's difficult to switch off. So, it's your phone's always on you. You have your laptop with you all the time. It's difficult to say, no, I'm not available on holidays, for example, weekends. You are always on. But in regards to kind of being able to do it successfully, you need to have a balance. So, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You want to have that balance. You want to be able to switch off. But I think as a business owner, so with my team, I'm very adamant that their working hours are 8:30 to 5:30, because I'm very big on them having work-life balance. And I always say that to them. I don't expect them to, take calls at 11 p.m. If they want to, then of course, but I don't expect it of them. But for me, it's slightly different, and maybe it's something that I need to work on. But I think it's different when you own your own business,
I'm a bad person, because I still remember some summertime together where you were working very tough, very hard.
You've seen it. You've seen me in action. I'm actually quite interested to know what you do. How do you balance things?
I am totally unbalanced. I accept my balance. And I believe that I try to do my balance more on long-term period. So I don't balance every day. I got some kind of period where I'm working very hard, like this period, because it's a transition period for everyone. And we are launching a lot of new business. So I'm working, for example, like, I don't want to say how many hours, but it's really too much.
Many hours.
Close to 20 hours. But then I take some kind of long break as soon as I got the opportunity, with all my guys working on other things. So I believe that everyone can get his own balance. There is no gold rules for everyone.
Absolutely.
Obviously, there is some rules that is a little bit more easy, like let's work 9-5 or something like that. But everyone can find his own balance. And
I agree with you.
Environment, we got this problem about Saturday, Sunday. The sports environment sometimes it's terrible for this.
I agree. I think balance for everyone is different. As a business owner, it's definitely different to an employee, for example. But yeah, it's how you manage it, and it's also what works for you. Some people might really thrive on working 10-hour days, whereas other people might not. So it just varies. It varies for everyone. But as a general rule, to have some sort of balance. So like you said, your balance is to work in clusters and then have some time off. It's wonderful. Other people might find their balance on a daily basis. So yeah, it's subjective. It's what works for individuals.
And what do you think on your side? Is better to work on time or on projects?
I think a bit of both. I think it's good to work on time for efficiency. But at the same time, I think it's important to work on projects because you want to see results. So in order to be efficient and to work smart, you need to have a good balance of both. What are your thoughts?
I believe that for myself is really much more motivating to work just on project and goals. But obviously, I understand that other people loves to work on regular basis, on time, with some kind of different security. So I think that everyone should have his own rules. But what is really much more important for me is the mindset. And here, I think, where comes the biggest difference. When you work smart working, you should have a strong mindset. Could you tell us something about mindset for you? What means mindset smart working?
So I think to visualize is to achieve. I think for me, again, it's a subjective thing. Everyone works differently. For me personally, I find having structure is beneficial. I find that, my mindset to being proactive, what helps me is the night before I try to visualize what I want to achieve the next day. So like I mentioned, I'm a Virgo, I'm very organized. I love a good list. So I like to make a list of what I want to achieve or people I want to speak with, tasks that I need to complete. So, just to tick it off my list, it's kind of clearing it from my mind. So that works really well for me. Other people have different methods, but I think at the end of the day is to kind of set objectives and try to reach those objectives. I think that works for everyone, but how they reach it is different for every individual. So, but that's what works for me. I love a good list.
I love the concept about visualization. In sports, every time that you want to reach a goal, like in business, you should visualize it. And that makes a huge difference. And you should feel even inside yourself what you're going to reach. That's so important. And so to do all these things, I believe that you should have methods. And here comes something that is very important for smart worker, because when you work on, let's say, smart working at home, you should have your own rules and you should have new habits. And it's very tough to understand how to discover new methods and apply this method in your life and become habits. Can you give us some ideas and some tips on this, Sam?
So to create a habit, they say you have to repeat something for 3 weeks, 21 days. I actually read on Instagram the other day that to be happier, you should wake up every day and you should say out loud 3 things that you're grateful for. So if you repeat it in 3 weeks, you're more grateful, you're more content, and as a result, you're happier. So it's about repetition to create habits. In regards to habits with smart working, again, it's routine. So, waking up in the morning, doing, showering, getting dressed, having breakfast, sitting behind a desk to start your work, starting work on time, taking regular breaks, taking a lunch break. It's so tempting for people to have a sandwich by their laptop, but, to be able to switch off, stretch your legs, get some fresh air, it makes such a difference. It's about having discipline in your day as well. It's so easy to kind of merge the lines and just, wake up and kind of 10 minutes before work starts and be in bed with your laptop. That isn't necessarily smart working, because long term, you're not going to reap the benefits. You're going to feel quite isolated. It's going to get mundane. So it's having a routine. It's having those, everything you do like in a set day, keeping to a routine. And it's about, mental, physical, emotional well-being as well. You want to do something that's sustainable. So if, for example, Monday to Friday, you keep to that routine, and then Saturday, Sunday, you kind of, you don't, then you feel like you have a routine, you're working, and you can differentiate as well. So London, like I said, has been in lockdown for 3 weeks. If everyone had started with their routine and habits from day one, now being in week 3, they would they would be just doing it seamlessly. But I think most people realistically started around day 10 to day 14 to get into the routine. So they're just starting to do it.
Yeah, I love this word routine. And routine, I think, is the base of success for everything that we do. And I believe that you focus one important point, and one of the biggest benefits that I see on my side about smart working. So when you can work at home, you can have a very, very, very good food. That is very important. But like everything, you should plan very well what you want to buy, because your diet starts on the supermarket. And
Absolutely.
when you go to the supermarket, you should know the food. You should try to understand what is good for you.
Planning
And
ahead.
I think this kind of balance help people that are doing smart working, because when you don't work, let's say remotely from home, many times you should go in the restaurants. You should have a very stressing life, above all for people like us that are meeting with customer, with other people in teams. So usually you get this kind of drinking too much, eating too much, and this is not so healthy.
Yeah.
So what's your rules on the food? How do you organize your food in a smart working way? That's very interesting.
I think smart working, when it comes to physical and mental health, you should look after it whether you're smart working or not. So setting time aside for exercise, making sure you have a good lunch, planning ahead. Like, you don't want to spend all your time, if you're working from home, snacking on crisps and chocolates and donuts. So like you said, it's similar to when you go to a supermarket. You want to plan your meals ahead. With smart working, it is important. It's important to take care of your health. It's important to eat well. It's important to set time aside to exercise. Sometimes it's difficult to prioritize those things when you are busy, but in all aspects of life, it's whether you're smart working or not, whether you're full-time based in an office, it's really important to prioritize. And I know some people struggle with it. And again, it's something that you have to work to kind of get perfect.
I believe it's like a mind approach. As you say, prioritize is even to understand which is your focus. And focus is a key word to get success. Could you tell us how do you focus your business activities, and how works in Clone the focus? How works this word in your company?
So focus for Cloned, I would say, is paramount, because in order for our assistants to be focused means that they're efficient. By being efficient, they produce a high quality of work in the lowest amount of time possible. Cloned, effectively, we sell time to our clients. So our clients purchase time, and in that time we help them with their business needs, admin needs, whatever their workload is. So in order for our assistants to be focused, they do things efficiently in less time, which then in return costs our clients less money, and it creates more client satisfaction. So in regards to Cloned, to have my assistants be focused is so paramount, and being able to work smartly is so important in that, because if I said to them work from home, but if I didn't train them or show them what smart working was, I wouldn't get that, and it would affect the business. So it's really important. Focus is number one.
Focus is really important. And I believe that another thing that is important is to have a balance of energy in, energy out. And to get this balance, you should understand how works your body, how works your mind. And to do this, maybe it's really important to stop after a while. And our job is a marathon. It's not just a sprint. We should stay with our customer always. And so I believe that it's even important to stop sometimes. How do you manage the stop and the timing, the schedule during your business day?
So for me, it's slightly different to for the team. For the team, we obviously, I do insist on them having breaks, having lunch breaks. I'm really big on them taking an actual break and having the full hour, for example. I think once you kind of remove yourself from a situation for a while and have a break, and then you go back to it, you're a lot more productive than when you kind of get bogged down for long periods of time. For myself, it's slightly different. You know, the way I schedule my day is perhaps different to how they would schedule their day. But you know, I try to be as supportive as I can be to the team. We have bi-weekly meetings. So Zoom, for example, everyone knows about Zoom at the moment, but even people who aren't tech savvy know about Zoom. So we've been using Zoom since we started to have our bi-weekly meetings. In those meetings, you know, we use that as an opportunity to kind of talk about our pressure points, talk about any concerns, brainstorm ideas, do any troubleshooting. So I try to give them as much support as possible throughout their day. We're always available, you know, the whole team. We really wanted, when we set Cloned up, we really wanted to have a sense of community. I didn't want my business or my team to kind of be scattered around without feeling united in some way. So everyone's always on hand to support one another. So we try to kind of be as connected as possible. But yeah, that's it. I kind of went off on a tangent there.
Well, one other things I was thinking now is connected with the word routine. So when you schedule your meeting, when you do your weekly meeting with your staff, do you do always at the same time with same rules, or you try to change it?
It depends. So we will always say we will have a call on, like, for example, the same day every week, but the time may vary. So in the morning, we'll all touch base and see who's available at what time. Some of them might have, you know, client calls. Some might be meeting with a client. So we pick a time which is mutually, you know, that everyone's available. But the days are set. So we keep the days set, but the times to the time when we're available.
Yeah, I used to do a kind of regular meeting at the same time because as we do big meeting with a lot of people, it's really tough to manage the agenda of everyone. So if you know you have a meeting every day, 11 o'clock, even if it's very short meeting, helps. And I believe some meetings are usually better.
Yeah, I mean, if we find that we're really struggling, then we have to make an executive decision. But most often there is a slot available, so it's not that difficult.
Yeah, and Sam, speaking with you, I understand that for the kind of job that you do, managing different customers in a flexible way, in a flexible world, you get some kind of secrets that everyone should have. So you know how to manage these strange moments. You know how to manage, price and busy time, busy days. So can you tell us how do you think that this kind of skills that you got, your team got, can help even to improve the social world? Because nowadays we are in a new era where all these talents that we got on the business side, we should put even in the social side. Do you have in mind some projects? Would you like to do anything for, let's say, for the people in the future, not just for the business?
Yeah. So I think social responsibility is the same for everyone, whether, you're working from an office, you're working part-time, you're smart working, everyone has a responsibility to their community. Social responsibility of a smart worker is slightly different in the sense that if you're working in a smart way, then you probably have time to be able to kind of dedicate a little bit more to your community. Cloned, for example, in the past, we've worked with charities, we've helped with fundraisers, campaigns, things like that. To work with charities, I think, it's more cost effective for them. We can really give more of our time as well. On a personal level, I think it's important to do it at any time, but now, especially with what's happening, is even more important. Even, I'm not saying you have to work frontline in a hospital, but even if you're able to help an elderly couple with their shopping, just to check in on someone, things like that, for to be able to do anything for the community, I think is important, whether whether you're a smart worker or not. So yeah,
And
social responsibility.
what do you think you can do with your company for charity? And how do you want to help, let's say, charity to get some kind of benefit from your business experience and your business tools?
I think you could do it in multiple ways. You know, we can really kind of help a charity with, like, for example, from a business standpoint. You know, so many charities have so many overheads these days with like full-time employees. So we could really go in with a different solution so it's more cost effective for them. But also with clones specifically, I know that we do try to kind of, so we talk about this quite a lot. We try to do something once a month to help charity, whether it's like a homeless shelter. We've talked about a charity run a few times, but no one seems to want to do the physical exercise. So it's different. You could either split it into from a business standpoint and help from a business side of things, or you could really just the time that we have, and you know, we can afford to kind of donate that time to a certain charity. So yeah, there's different elements of being able to help out.
And do you have any kind of charity in London where you can offer, let's say, your time?
Yeah, I mean, you have charities for the elderly, where you go and you like sit with an older person and you just spend some time with them. You know, you have a cup of tea. I think it's called Age UK, where you just like for half an hour to an hour, you sit down, you have a cup of tea, a biscuit. It's just having that companionship, because most, you know, elderly people, they may not have any family or they're quite lonely. So it's just as simple as that. Or you could really, you know, kind of sign up to a charity and become like a volunteer and do other things, I guess. But there is a broad spectrum of what you can do to help charities.
Okay. You know, I was thinking a few days ago about your company because actually we are managing a Facebook group in Italy where we are trying to help people to get the food at home, because in Italy the situation is quite tough nowadays. And I received a message from an old employee that I got maybe 20 years ago. So, and she wrote me, Charles, I'm very happy about what you're doing. I'm following you. It's very interesting. I'm trying to do something similar, and I'm donating my time to an old lady that is 98 years old. And we organize with this lady some kind of calls so she doesn't feel lonely.
That's lovely.
That's lovely. And so I believe if you think this girl was giving, you know, so much to this old lady with so small, and
Yeah.
she, Charles, you know, I feel very happy after that I do this call, and I believe that I'm more happy than her. And so they do like video calls with this 90 years old lady. That is amazing. So thinking about, is possible for your company, let's say, to set up maybe a fundraising activities on a platform like GoFundMe, where maybe you can offer, let's say, to a very discounted price or with some kind of gift or whatever, time of your employees to do some kind of social action like this one. So to try to call old people that maybe need some kind of help. So maybe you could set up like a Facebook group where you can who needs help, who want to offer help, and you can maybe know some girls that want to work as executive assistant with you, or you can even get some guy that want to pick some money, and then someone that needs to receive a call, because maybe 10 minutes call, it doesn't cost too much. How much could cost if I want to buy, for example, 10 minutes call of service on your company?
I mean, I wouldn't charge for 10 minutes of charity.
No, that's son. I just
Very little, very little. I mean, it's not.
Sometimes you can do charity, but you can do charity until one level. But after, if you do, let's say, business with very small margin, that help the community. This is, I think, the most amazing things that we can do nowadays. So we can rethink our product, rethink our service in a very social way. So maybe your normal margin is, let's say, 35% or whatever. I don't know. I don't want to say numbers, but maybe you can cut down 50% your average margin, and then you can offer a kind of product to help people. Because as person, if I pay, let's say, I don't know, £5 to donate 10 minutes call to someone, I could be very happy to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's actually a very good idea.
Yeah, so maybe we can use something like that to create some activities together. We will just want to buy minutes for someone. Okay.
So since this COVID-19 situation, we've actually been thinking of how we can do more for the community, for charity. And one of our team members, actually, I think last week or the week before, she said that her grandmother lives outside of London. And because of lockdown, they can't get to her, and she's on her own, and she's obviously got no one to help her. So what her brother did was he went on Facebook and he said, my grandmother lives in this area. She has no one to help her with her food shopping. Is there anyone who could help her? And so many people volunteered to help. So now, they've managed to get her food. They've managed to get her sorted. And it doesn't cost anything, but people have this urge to want to help. But it's exactly like you said, it's being able to kind of seeing what you can do to help as well as possible. So whether it's your time, whether you can offer a service, whatever it is, I would definitely be interested. We talk about it all the time, but it's just knowing, what people need. Like, because we're in London, we're quite well connected. So I think for us, the problem is maybe we're not aware of the situation outside of London. So to know what we can do and what is the most efficient way of doing it, we would definitely be happy to help.
Yeah, that's good. So, Sans, you told which is the most efficient way. Sometimes it's very hard to understand which is the most efficient way. But I think everything that we do for other people, even if not very efficient, even if it's not the best things, is always something. So it's good that we can do something.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so I think that today we did something more than a simple live on YouTube, because maybe we are building something for the future.
I quite enjoyed it. I feel like this was fun. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Sam, to be with us, and I hope that we can have even more time together in the future. I have seen that we got some kinds of comments, but what we can do, we can receive more comments, and then maybe we can schedule a new session in the future, or we can simply answer by comments. And please ask a lot of comments, and we will be happy to be in touch with everyone.
Absolutely. Did we get any questions? Or just
actually, I don't see questions on internet, but we have even finished our time, so we have to jump away. And
all right.
And let's hope to meet soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Charles.
Bye. Have a good time.
Bye. Bye.